It's the Rangers Journal night.
Evening everybody and welcome back to the Rangers Journal. Sorry about the technical difficulties. I think I've managed to get it sorted now. I think we're all sounding nice and clear and whatever else. But just quickly, Doug, how you doing, pal?
Yeah, not bad. It seems that we're having the same sort of night as the team, so I'll blame the team for that. They're rubbing off on us.
Ryan, how you doing, mate?
I'm all right, mate. I'm not too bad.
Good stuff. Doug, what's your initial reaction to that match?
Just disappointment, I think. As I say, we were kind of going in with confidence in the pre-match. We were all sort of talking the team up and hoping that we were going to do, good things. And to be fair, we started off okay. We had a couple of decent chances. Czerny should have put us ahead before we lost the goal. We get back in it though. And right up until the third goal went in, I was still sitting thinking to myself, there's goals to be got from this game. But once the third went in, it kind of felt like there was a deflation. And the second half just kind of, it was up and down a little bit and then it just fizzled out. So I just feel like there was a chance missed. I feel like we could have played better. And I feel like on another night we could have potentially gotten a draw out of that game. Because Lyon were very good. They had a lot of talented players, and you could see that. So we need to recognise that. But we weren't clinical enough, and we made some errors. So we could have done better.
Right. I think there's nothing I can disagree with, mate. Ryan, what about you? What's your initial reaction, mate?
Disappointment, of course, mate. I went into the game with high hopes. Thought Rangers could have won the game. Beforehand, I was quite confident on us going and doing the business tonight because we've been in okay form, really well defensively, but just the manner of the way we lost the goals and stuff tonight, they were really cheap goals. I thought, the front three for them were good, but I thought our defence was poor. I thought we were poor at both ends of the park. We weren't clinical enough in front of goal, as Doug touched on, like the likes of Czerny and stuff. They weren't missing their chances and we were missing ours. So I thought we could have been more aggressive both sides of the park, to be honest, mate. So you look at the stats after the work, I had to think I had a quick look at the stats before we come on, and it's quite even. Shots and targets, shots on goal and stuff. So I mean, so they were far more clinical than us, and it's a lesson learned, I think.
Aye, 100%. Need to agree with that. I feel as if tonight was a big learning curve for the team. We know where we are. We know we're going to have nights like this. We're going to have inconsistencies in our performances. It's just the nature of the beach. It's where the nature of the beast. It's just where Rangers are just now. Do you agree with that, Doug? I think particularly Conor Barron and Jeff Day have got big lessons to take for the night. Jeff Day for me was a wee bit chose the wrong pass, chose the wrong final ball at times going forward. We had a lot of space in the first half. I feel as if we could have utilised it a wee bit better. Conor Barron obviously gives away the third goal. Well, not gives it away, but a loose pass to Lyon counter and it ends up in a goal and that kind of kills the game. So harsh lesson for the boys tonight, innit?
Yeah, and I think there's sort of two folds to that in terms of both young players, so they're gonna have to learn these things, and unfortunately, we strive to be in the big games, and so sometimes these things will happen in those games. And similarly, the team as a whole obviously are still working to gel together. We're still getting injuries here and there. That's meaning the team is still changing quite in small aspects, or we're not necessarily maybe getting to play our best teams. So there are going to be times where we have to just take that on board. I don't want to see people. I hope over the next day or two that I don't see people piling on them too much because of that. We do have a tendency to do that sometimes. So as I say, I think they've both got credit in the bank, so I think they'll probably be fine. And there's one other player I think that'll take the majority of the iron anyway. So there'll be interesting discussions, I'm sure, that'll come up from that as well.
Oh, definitely, mate. Definitely. We'll touch upon that substitution later on for James Tavernier, but Ryan, see, in terms of the inconsistencies of this squad, Lyon went out and spent 180 million, roughly, on the playing squad, only got 40 back, so their net spend for summer's 140 odd million quid. Should we really be surprised tonight?
They were the highest spenders in France, so that kind of says a lot. They've got quality over the park, definitely. The front three, especially, was named Cherky, and Fofana was brilliant. To be honest, the two of them looked really good. I thought we made it easy for them at times. I thought we looked a really bit caught on our heels at the back. Tavernier, even sitting proper, I just felt everybody was just a yard too slow for them. And we made it easy for them. Even the first goal, I think he just walks through. So I mean, somebody needs to put a foot in better than what we've done. As I say, the goals were cheap. I would get it if we were absolutely ripped apart, but I think every goal was kind of cheap to give away today. But if you're talking about golf and spending, like if you look at it that way, we shouldn't be getting near them. But I don't think they can make that as an excuse tonight.
Doug, do you think the shape in midfield's right for Rangers? Any time we come up against a good team, they're just playing right through us.
I don't think it's necessarily the shape. I think it's fine for what he's attempting to do. I think there's still question marks over, the ultimate quality of the people in some of the positions. A lot of us had hoped that we would get a more die-in-the-wool sort of number 6, who I think would improve things. Lawrence has been doing really well, and last couple of weeks, and even at the start of tonight, I was singing his praises because he's literally been a game winner in matches. Once he got us back in tonight, but there's still question marks, I think, over his overall effectiveness in matches in terms of what Clement wants from his style of play. So there are some things in there. Part of what Clement wants when the team pushes up a bit does leave a gap between the defence and the midfield that we need to be aware of. And I think that's one of the reasons that they potentially looked and brought in Proper, because he is a defender that will push out and into that space when needed. And he did do that a couple of times tonight to decent effect. So I think he is maybe aware of that, and there's potentially just still work to be done. But I have said in the past I wouldn't mind if we played more of a flat 3 in the middle, even if not all the time. Some of the time, I do think there's games that could benefit us. But it could just be, as I say, we're obviously on this rebuild. We've only had one window of it. Maybe in another 2 windows' time, he's brought in a couple more players, and we've stepped up another level. Because I think that's something that we saw tonight. There's still space for us to go. I was talking in our first little bit of the when we were live about the comparisons I felt with Dortmund, and I think we were a better team then than we are right now. So there's more room for growth, and that's maybe an area that I think we can see some of that the most.
Ryan, is this down to manager's tactics? Yes, 4-2-3-1 with a number 10 role and all that jargon. Do you think this is working?
I think at Ibrox I would always like to play a number 10. Sometimes in Europe you need to stiffen up in the middle, maybe play a more athletic 3 across the park. I think with Tom Lawrence's form as well, I think it's hard to go a 3 in the middle when Tom Lawrence has been playing so well as a 10. So it probably would have been the formation I would have went with. Starting lineup wise, I maybe would have played a McCausland, the proper winger. I think it was a bit narrow. I don't like playing even though Vajrami had a blinder. Him and Sherney, they don't really get on the ball and get out wide and stretch the game, if you know what I mean. But I think the formation wise, I would have probably went for that formation. Yeah, hindsight's a good thing, so you can maybe put the 3, but I would have probably went with what he went with tonight.
Fair enough. I just think there's big gaping holes all over the park, then you get fixed out. And when we come up against a team of even Celtic's quality, they can play through the middle. It's too easy. We're not compact. We're not. Under Stevie G, it was just like a big well-oiled machine that when the opposition had the ball on Tav's side, the whole team moved over, and vice versa. When Tav went, there was somebody there to cover him. It's not working for me just now. I'm struggling to see what he's trying to do. We'll talk about the one positive for night, Doug, and that was Nadeem Badrami's performance.
Yeah, I think he was a cut above everyone else. Noticeably so. I mean, there was that one moment, cross ball, looping high. It kind of reminded me of the the ball that Hadji played to Kent. And it was one of the European games. Was it Braga? We won 1-0 away, or Red Star, one of those ones. It was a big looping kind of ball like that. But unlike Kent, let the ball come down over him and onto the floor, whereas Barami jumps up in the air, absolutely just stops it with his left foot, and then before he even touches the ground again, has knocked it ahead of him with his other foot, so that he can just keep going. It was an absolutely beautiful moment of skill. Coisty was positively orgasming in the commentary, and rightfully so. It was a beautiful bit of play. But not just that, he always looked like he could create something. He was one of the few players that was actually beating his man. We didn't really see much of that until some of the subs. I think Casemiro came on and again looked positive in terms of he's got a good little burst on him that can get past a player. And yeah, he just looked genuinely like the most creative player. There was some good work with Diomande in the second half as well on occasion. And it looked like if we were going to be getting anything, it would have come through him one way or another.
Brian, you're a big fan of Cyril Dessers. What happened to him tonight? Sum up his performance.
I think he got bullied tonight, Scott. I just think he was throwing himself at the ground too easy as well. I think, and the referee wasn't buying it. And I'm starting out, but I think it's something's added to his game. I didn't think it was always like that. I think it's something's added to his game. I was kind of throwing himself about, but I'd like to see my centre forward, especially in Europe, ruffling a few feathers. They'll be kind of keep going back to Morelos, but like just taking away that is getting about the centre halves, make them work. He didn't work the centre halves at all. He didn't give them a battle either. So if I was to sum it up in a word, I would say he was bullied tonight.
That's fair enough. I thought he was poor, especially when we're trying to go direct. He's not the guy that can hold the ball up. He can't even win a knock on just now. Mm-hmm. Doug, what's your take on Dessers tonight, mate?
Exactly the same. I was mentioning it in the group chat earlier. I've really noticed this season that how like whiny Dessers seems to be. He seems to be like really clipping at the ref a lot for things. And I mean tonight there was quite a few that I just thought he was just weak. In going in with a centre back, he did have a bit of a penalty shout at one point. The guy had his hand around his shirt and was pulling him down. Dessers did give a wee tug to him just beforehand, but that could have been given. But there's quite a few of them where he just like he'll stick his leg out to go for the ball, but I just feel like he could just go in on the challenge a bit harder. You know that kind of the foul that always gets given against goalkeepers when you go in because you're kind of deliberately just trying to knock the goalie a little bit. That's what a striker should be doing against centre backs when high balls are coming into them. Just go in and a little bit of the dark art there. You're wanting to win the ball, but you're also just trying to get a little on the defender, just knock him off with stride a bit. And Dessers doesn't seem to do that. He always tries to put his foot in rather than get his whole body in. But there's a few times where if you're just sticking your foot in, the defender's whole body will just spin you around because you're just a leg and he'll just away you go. And that happened to Dessers a couple of times, and then he was just on the floor going, "Why am I not getting a free kick for that?" Because there's nothing there to give really. So I'd like to see him get a bit stronger and get in a little bit more rather than just complaining about it.
I think he's already strong enough. I think he just needs to use it properly. I don't think he's too busy with walking about with his arms up there, moaning at the referees. It's all he done tonight. He never done anything else. He nearly got in the way of the goal. He nearly caused a foul for a goal because he was in front of the goalkeeper. He pushed the keeper. Do you know what I mean? It's small things like that, but then he'll come out against St Johnstone Sunday, score a hat-trick, and it'll paper over the cracks again. It's the nature of the beast with Cyril Dessers. Right, James Tavernier, just quickly. I felt as if at times tonight hold on. Charles, thank you very much for your donation, mate. That's greatly appreciated. Scott right better on Cherney, not just about to miss. I don't know, mate. I think I'm not sure if he's better on Cherney. I'm not sure if they're on a par with each other tonight, put it that way. Who was I saying? James Tavernier. Doug, I just felt as if at times he was jogging back to a goal, especially for the third goal. You do see him slowly jogging back, comes to taking corners, Coy Stevens says it in co-commentary that we're trying to chase a game. This is in the first half. Tavernier's walking up to take a corner kick. Clermont subbed him off a night. Is this a big night in James Tavernier's Rangers career?
I don't think it'll be as pivotal as people want it to be, as many people want it to be. But I mean, I don't. At the end of the day, it's something that I think was to be expected. It was going to happen eventually. If not just because Clermont said that he would play less, therefore at some point he's going to have to come off with that or not play. But I mean, he did have a torrid time tonight. I do think that was equal parts the quality of the opposition and not just him not being up to it, which pretty much universal chat on Twitter is just putting it down to him not being up to it. Now there's a bit of that in terms of his, he's getting older. He's not as good as he was. So there is an aspect to that. So I don't want people to think I'm trying to say there's nothing wrong with that, because there is. But at the same time, he was up against someone borderline, a third of his age. He's a top quality player. So there was some of that as well. We are going to see him come off and not start games this season. And I think that's obviously, that was a sign of that. And to be honest, I think it's probably credit in Clermont's bank, particularly for the folk that are done with Tavernier. But I think in general, because it is a big move, obviously to take off your club captain, even if they are playing poorly. Was it sort of, I think, about the 60-minute mark, so it wasn't, a late coming off as he has done in the past. So it shows us our kind of roughly early doors that, he is willing to do that if Tavernier's not up to the game that's happening. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. A lot of people have already seen are clambering for him not to start the next game, or indeed for that to be his last ever Rangers game. I don't think that it'll be his last game, but you never know. We maybe don't see him start the next match. I think he probably will, but I do think it is the start of us seeing the other players get blended in, and ultimately it is the right thing to do. While I do think Tavernier still has stuff to offer the club, it is the right thing to do for us to be starting that transition, particularly when, like I say, we've got Casa in particular who's coming in, and that's 2 games now where I think he's been bright when he came on, despite him not being able to affect the game. He's looked bright and looks like someone who should be pushing for the jersey.
Aye, definitely, mate. Definitely. I think that is a big turn tonight. I think fans will just say about, come on, should have done it earlier than the night, but hey, he's done it. So, Ryan, just last question before we wrap up. The substitutions tonight. Kieran Dowell coming for Tom Lawrence at half-time. Casemiro for Tav. Raskin for Barron. Sterling for Cherney. And McCausland for Badrami. Were they the subs you were expecting to see?
Dowell, to be honest, I wasn't surprised with Dowell, but it's not a sub I wanted to see. I don't even Badrami could have went through the middle. He was showing some really good stuff in the first half, and see if we could get him through the middle, and that means he can get passes to either side, left or right through the middle. I just don't see what he sees in Dowell. I don't, even though he did have that one chance, he took it well, but didn't score, to be fair. But the substitutes as well when they come on, couldn't really affect the game. I'd like McCausland on a lot quicker, Scott, as well.
Aye.
I'd probably actually put McCausland on for Lawrence and put Badrami through the middle, just to give us that bit of width. But I was like, the Tavernier thing, that's been a big taboo for a while now. So I'm a big fan of Tavernier's, but I definitely think he's not untouchable. He needs time out of the team as well. So it's good to see him maybe. Maybe Duke says he's probably maybe that was a bit for the fans. Def come out saying getting Tavernier, I've tried that credit back for that. But I would like to see Casa or even Sterling start at right back maybe in the weekend, but I probably will still with Tavernier.
Aye. It'll be interesting to see what he does at the weekend, because we're getting into an international break, so we need a good performance and we need to change his narrative. The comments are going nuts about Tav and come on and Cherney and whatever else just now. Charles, thank you for your next donation.
Cherney needs a bit of time, I think, Scott. I think that is a player, and I think he just needs a wee bit of time.
It's time and confidence, isn't it? It's just you don't get it at Rangers. That's that wee kick out last again in the last game kind of shows maybe he's
It's more mentality wise with him. I mean, he's maybe going to have
Aye.
to be a wee bit mentally stronger.
Aye, definitely. Right, lads, we'll wrap up there. Thanks to everybody for tuning in. Keep an eye on our community post because we will be putting up our player ratings either tonight or tomorrow morning. We've got our pod tomorrow night at 6:30 where we'll be talking about tonight's game and the St Johnstone game. And then we'll be back next week with more content for you. So everybody, please like and subscribe. Head on over to our Facebook and Instagram pages. Hit a like button. We're even on TikTok now. Tomo's running that, and he's actually making it quite funny. So if you're on TikTok, look up the Rangers Journal on that if you want to laugh. Otherwise, all I can say is it's been a very sobering night to be a Rangers fan. Hopefully we can change that narrative on Sunday. And remember, every night is Rangers Journal night. Good night.